Yo, Mr. Kyle at Myers Mathematics. All right, so today is September 13th. We're doing 3 problems since it's an odd number day. We've got x squared minus 5x plus 6, x squared plus 5x minus 6, and then x squared minus 5x minus 6. Kind of a weird day because we have, well, we're kind of switching from plus to minus on the 6 here. Maybe it's just me, I don't know, because I kind of have a pattern where normally it's different when you go from plus to minus. I don't know, maybe I'm saying too much. Maybe you're just learning factoring and you're like, what are you talking about? So these look really similar, but we're actually going to tackle them a little differently, at least between the two types here that I have, between the plus 6 and the minus 6 versions, because the sign of the last number tells you whether you're adding or subtracting. But without rambling too much, let's go ahead and dive right in and you'll see what I'm talking about. So x squared minus 5x plus 6. Okay, so the deal is there's nothing in front of x squared other than a 1, right? 1 times x squared. I could put that there if I wanted to, but since there's no other number besides that, no 2 or 3 or anything, I can just focus on this last number. I need two things that multiply to give me 6, and they have to add to give me 5. Why add? Right? It's add or subtract if you want to generalize factoring. Generally speaking, the last number has to add or subtract to give you the middle number, but in this case they have to add because I have to have either a positive 1 and a positive 6 that multiply to give positive 6, or, and by the way, 1 plus 6 is 7, so that wouldn't give me the middle term, or I can make them both negative. And if I make them both negative, negative 1 minus 6 is the same thing as saying negative 1 plus negative 6, which would be adding. Since the signs are the same, I'm going to be adding the two numbers. And this would give me negative 7, which is still not the negative 5 number that I need to get here. But so I have to add to get negative 5. So this is a really tricky one, actually, because you would think, like, oh, I can just subtract 1 and 6 and get 5. You know, and so that'll work, or negative 5 or whatever, right? But it doesn't, because I have to add. The signs have to be the same. So 1 and 6 will not work. Now, there's one other pair of things that multiply to give me 6, 2 and 3. So here, 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, that works. But 2 plus 3 is positive 5, and I want negative 5. So I can make negative 2 and negative 3, because now they add to give me negative 5 and they multiply to give me positive 6. So there we go. It works. So I throw x's in front of it and I'm done. Now, for the next one, it's x squared plus 5x minus 6. So let me actually do this first. I normally do them in order, and I have like a special order that I usually follow. But let me actually do this first. So let me just change. So I'm going to keep it negative 5x, but this time I'm going to do minus 6. And this makes this a totally different solution. Just changing that one thing, because now I have to make either the 1 or the 6 negative in order to make a negative 6 when I multiply. So if I make the 1 negative and the 6 positive, now that multiplies to give me negative 6. But negative 1 plus 6 is the same thing as 6 minus 1, which is positive 5. And I want a negative 5. So I need to change the signs. If I just change the signs, plus and then minus, now I get negative 6, right? So that didn't change. I still get negative 6 when I multiply. But now 1 minus 6 is going to give me negative 5. So now it gives me what I need. So notice just changing the sign of the 6 to negative means that I have to subtract, which means that I need different factors to try to get that negative 5. Right? And then for our last one here, it's going to be the same thing, just a plus. So x squared plus 5x minus 6. So same thing is going to happen. I'm still going to need, oh, that's not a 5, that's going to be a 6. I'm still going to need to get a 5 when I subtract. Right, but now I need a positive 5. So I need this to be positive and this to be negative. I want a positive 6 and a negative 1. They multiply to give me negative 6, and they add to give me 5. So I throw an x in front, and I'm done.